So the possibilities for what has been going on, there are a few of them, and a lot of them I got from the tarot cards. So I kind of have been trying to process of elimination stuff. An international Ponzi scam was one possibility that was brought up, and the more digital things become, the more new scams come out, and the more scams are running rampant. And it was basically some sort of scam where you don't say anything and you basically get compensated for your silence. Romance scams are actually a thing now, but I didn't even know that existed. I have heard of people having very generous friends or whatever, but yeah, this is something that's becoming mainstream. I've also heard of scams that are disguised as job offers. The cartel was another um, possibility that one of the tarot readers suggested. And I haven't dated any cartel members. I have dated some people who they could be in the cartel today, but I mean, I didn't know all their like details, so please don't judge me. But I mean, I don't really think so. I'm kind of like just a person, right? Why would a organization like that? But there are the the possibility that like for the dark market, like the romance scams could serve as, providing sex workers and etc. Another reason that I looked heavily at the mafia was because on these suspicious profiles that were popping up with my name on them, I mean, it was kind of suspicious. One of them had the middle name as Dare. One of my screen names for gaming is Daredevil. On these profiles where it would tell you the members of the family, they would have different names. And in a lot of these profiles, it had either his first, last, or middle name. And that can be an occult way of screwing with somebody. So I did start kind of looking that direction, and I recalled that he was gang affiliated. And I didn't know that upon commitment, but and later I found out also that high priest Satanists were in his bloodline. Um, I found out that he had relatives who were in the cartel who he looked up to and kind of glorified. Also, I remembered in the past he has lied about who he was using my brother's birthday, and on the credit report, the thing that links my brother to my credit report is his birthday. And the tarot was also mentioning crooked law enforcement and cops, FBI, CIA type thing, like different departments. Goes up to federal, right? Um, that is a really good way to isolate somebody, though. For example, many moons ago, I saw a story about how Israel was going to start training our officers, and more recently, I saw something about that actually being manifest. Political pushes, laws passed, laws put into place so that they can be passed later. Those are reasons I might look at our own. I'm not saying all law enforcement is good. I know that they're not. There's good and bad in every group. But if you're scared of cops or want to keep cops away, it's a good way to get a person to not go to them. Or perhaps those perpetrating a fallacy might be afraid of law enforcement, therefore, they you to be afraid of law enforcement. it was being said in some of the readings that there's small town corruption, which that's possible. The Mason name came up and secret societies came up, which that very possibly could be. But I see people being used as scapegoats often. Like I said, it very possibly could be. I've had relatives in the Masons, but I do not know firsthand anything that goes on. Um, and we have a lodge here, like 10 minutes from my house, actually. But, I just, I don't know. I guess, to be completely honest, I have a soft spot maybe because it's family, maybe it's because in the beginning, um, I tend to look at the origins of things because I find it fascinating. And the Templar are, they could have had good intentions. And I thought that was kind of it was beautiful. So I don't know. Plus, YouTube, they have moved everything in that they want their mainstream version. They don't have a problem with the Masons being on the chopping block. I'm not saying that they're so wise that they have not been used as tools like everybody, but I am saying, I don't know if I believe that completely. I kind of think it's more likely if somebody wanted to mess with me, knowing that I am a conspiracy theorist and I look into all that kind of stuff, on top of if they have some sort of fear, or just, any international group, society might be intimidating to people. It's a name to hide behind. And of course, CIA and FBI are definitely things I've thought about. Whenever I started the little walk I was walking, shortly after I started walking it, I started being interested in, by chance, to investigation, because YouTube basically gave me a chance to, for fun, solve a crime type thing. And it was just, like a puzzle. I considered the CIA, FBI, military, but I'm not sure. When I started my little walk, I got into investigation because by chance, one of the tarot videos said that we could solve a crime, which sounded, like something new, sounded fun. So I also had in my mind, why are these people able to do certain stuff? They must have certain technology. So, like, I would think something, and then a tarot reading would pop up, and it would respond to even a thought. And they got senses of humor, which I'm glad they had that. But anyway, that's beside the point. So, who would have mind reading capabilities? Who would have the tech for that? Now, before I say, because there are sites where you can buy like military equipment. So, if you think the cartel doesn't have some stuff, I don't know. Um, and even worse, if it were military, it might not even be ours. If it were just somebody who dislikes me or my content, I think it'd be a lot of trouble to go through to give me that much attention. But that could be it too. I mean, people do get killed for talking about the wrong thing. And I'm just like, would you please chill the fuck out? Did I make a new currency or something? Calm down. Now, the FBI does have a behavior analyst unit. Um, and the military has, and the FBI, I think, have had people who are remote viewers employed with them. One of the tarot readings said that, well, multiple, said that there was a lieutenant and a sergeant involved partaking in the shenanigans. Also, when I called on one of my credit reports and I had to talk to a rep, the reason I had to talk to the rep to freeze my report was because I couldn't answer some of the questions associated with my social. Whenever you first call and you give your information, then they're like, okay, well, can you let us know what company you have this credit card with? I wasn't able to answer those questions because I don't have credit cards all over the place. And the answers they were giving me, they were like, they sounded military related. So I don't put it past even the government to implant thoughts, dreams. And it is funny because I haven't dreamed for years. And then this started happening. I saw a video saying I was going to dream about the person who was basically doing all this. And I did. I dreamed about relatives and an ex and etc. But I hadn't had dreams before that for like many, many moons. Also, the tarot readings were describing basically physical pain or just things I was going through. And I kind of think after seeing that other girl's video that that might have been part of the experiment. However, it could have been like energy frequency weaponry, or it could have also been illusionists. For example, it would say you've been marked as soon as you have like a blemish pop up or something like that. It could say something like blood. It could refer to blood when you start your shark week. Also, I don't know how aware you are as far as like the capability of illusionist, which I'm not that familiar. However, black magic or whatever, they can actually set you up in weird ways. Like, let me give you an example. You kiss somebody that you're into, the next day you get a bump on your lip. Then you meet somebody who's got those same bumps on their lips, who supposedly, according to the tarot story, they're connected. So I don't know if that's what that's about. But I was freaking out at first. I was like, "Oh my god!" But God can heal like anything, so don't freak out. Don't freak out. And what faith can't heal, God can. I might as well mention this now too. I heard it suggested, and it's kind of a interesting way to perceive it. Um, what if you looked at sexual transmitted diseases like sexually transmitted demons? So, just something to think about. If we really considered diseases demons, how many demons would we be empowering and allowing to walk around, to run around rampant, even spreading them around? And what do blemishes and things of that nature fall under? Glamour magic. I was actually understanding until I was called rogue, and then the confusion kind of started, and it's died down a little bit now, but the thought has actually crossed my mind that the tarot card readings, and not all of them, but if we're constantly being listened to, they kind of provoke you to talk, and that provokes intel. So, just a thought. I know that in the past I've mentioned the government has spent a pretty penny so that they could research hacking the soul, um, and the God gene, and basically research on spiritual people. And not too long ago, I actually saw Josh Howley, I think is his name. I call him Go Josh Go because he's kind of fire. But he mentioned that Catholics were being targeted by the FBI. I remember my phone just after being in a reading, oh, your phone's hacked. The phone just started taking pictures. It was just sitting on the bed, no one was touching it. Click, click, click. And some of these readings were saying that certain people were doing things. Um, Sometimes it was wrong, a lie, or it was not my reading. Sometimes, but that could serve as instigation. Um, Sometimes it was correct, but maybe my misinterpretation was I didn't know exactly who they were talking about. Predominantly looking at the government because of all the land grabs, the crazy inflation, um, pushes for who is concerned that they are being watched. Pro tip: bathing suit, bubble baths, lights off. And the guy that was trying to manipulate me, he actually told me that he was going through some things with like the county or something. Um, Basically, along my walk, supposedly somebody was trying to, go after my land. Well, and I reversed things, and it was kind of funny because the things that I sent back to whoever, it seemed like a lot of them were happening to him. He told me that I might not want to talk about it too much because sometimes the squeaky wheel on the bike is the one that gets changed the loudest. But he was having issues with his home and stuff, so I just thought it was interesting. And then him trying to kind of persuade me to not talk about it to everybody. Don't let everybody know what's going on. And the truth is, I was born in Austin. Keep it loud, keep it weird. So even though I'm very suspicious of the government for obvious reasons, um, that encounter, it made me feel like maybe they weren't the bad guy this time. So during all this, I learned about the differences between narcissists and empaths. It is still shocking to me how you can know somebody for so long and them not be at all the person that you think they are or they portray themselves to be. However, the best way, for a while, I didn't trust myself because there were some actors in my life, and I was like, how did I not know that? So I didn't really trust myself. But the best way you can learn to trust yourself again, if you've had anything like that happen to you, basically know the signs, know the red flags, so that you will recognize um, a narcissist or whoever, whatever you're looking for, so you'll be able to identify it. You can't recognize a spade if you've never seen one before. The tarot readings were talking about um, homosexuals being pissed off, which is quite possible. The readings were saying that there was a group of homosexuals that was pissed off. The area I was in had a lot of that, and it does. I did not realize how much, but it does. Don't mind me. I'm just here reading books, pissing everybody off. But there is a good side to it. I actually haven't gotten to where I want to be, but I have gotten to where I'm pretty familiar with the cards. I feel familiar enough with the cards that I've actually started doing readings, but if I post any readings, they will probably be on BitChute. To be honest, I might even make just a little channel for readings, but I don't know how much I'm going to get into that. And I actually might make a few. I don't really want to make another YouTube account, even though it would help with keeping things organized, but we'll see. Some people are just little shits. I even thought maybe I pissed off like a group that likes to screw with kids or something, because like the angels that are around me, if they're ever restless, like I tell them, save a child or an animal, go pick on somebody who hurts them, type stuff. I don't know, but I talk about that a little bit. And one thing I've noticed is certain people, They're really kind of crazy about controlling one, money, and two, access to the kids. Hello, Poppet. Judging by my content? Could be. You know, I'm just here trying to live my life. And people want to pick at me.